You ever think about how one single bad decision could literally change the world? I'm not talking about a small oops, but a massive, history-altering blunder that could bring a 1,000-year-old empire crashing to the ground. Well, that's exactly the story we're getting into today.
Right here, this is the heart of it all. It's kind of like a job interview that goes so spectacularly wrong, it ends up handing your biggest rival the keys to your supposedly unconquerable city. This one no completely redrew the map.
So to really get why this was such a huge deal, we have to set the stage. We're talking about the legendary Byzantine Empire and its capital, Constantinople. For a long, long time, this place was the center of the world.
And just think about that time frame, 1,000+ years. This wasn't just any old empire. This was the successor to Rome. It had seen rivals come and go for a millennium. It was, a living piece of history and power.
And its secret weapon? The city's defenses were just legendary. I'm talking massive, triple-layered walls that had stopped everyone for centuries. Barbarian hordes, other empires, you name it. It created this whole myth that the city was absolutely, totally invincible.
But by 1452, things were different. The Golden Age was long gone. The empire was basically a shadow of what it once was. It was broke, and enemies were closing in on all sides. And right into this incredibly tense moment walks an engineer with an idea that could change, well, everything.
Okay, so there are three main guys at the center of this whole thing. You've got the emperor, Constantine XI, who is desperate to save what's left of his empire. Then there's Orban, this brilliant engineer who's just looking for someone to fund his genius. And finally, you have Sultan Mehmed II, young, ambitious, and ready to jump on any opportunity he sees.
So here's Orban's big pitch. He goes to Emperor Constantine with this incredible offer. He says, I can build you a new kind of superweapon, a cannon so unbelievably powerful, it'll make your famous impenetrable walls, well, actually impenetrable.
And this is the moment it all comes down to. The proposal is on the table, there in the emperor's palace, and the entire fate of an empire is hanging on what he says next.
But here's the tragedy of it all. Constantine knew. He knew Orban's tech could be the game changer he needed. He could see the Ottoman threat getting closer and closer. But when Orban told him how much it would cost, he just couldn't do it. The Byzantine treasury was completely empty. He had to say no.
So Orban, feeling totally rejected, doesn't just pack up and go home. Nope. He takes his world-changing blueprints, turns around, and walks straight over to the competition, the camp of the Ottoman Sultan Mehmed II.
And the difference between their two reactions just couldn't be more dramatic. Where Constantine saw an expense he couldn't possibly afford, Mehmed saw an investment he absolutely couldn't pass up. The Sultan didn't just hire Orban on the spot, he gave him basically unlimited resources, a blank check to build his dream weapon.
And the result of that yes was immediate and, frankly, terrifying. With the full might of the Ottoman treasury behind him, Orban's idea for a weapon was about to become a very, very real monster.
Seriously, think about that. 3 months, in just a quarter of a year, Orban built a cannon unlike anything the world had ever seen before. He even gave it a name, the Basilisk. And just to give you an idea of how massive this thing was, it took a team of 60 oxen, 60, just to drag this colossal weapon into place. Can you just imagine being a soldier on those walls, watching that thing slowly being pulled towards your city? The dread must have been unbelievable.
And from there, the end came so fast. It goes from Orban's rejection to his cannon being deployed to the final breach of the walls. All of that happened in just a few months. The decision not to pay up came back to haunt them with brutal, devastating speed.
And here's the supreme, tragic irony of it all. Those legendary walls that had stood for 1,000 years were finally smashed to pieces. And they weren't just brought down by a huge army, but by the exact same revolutionary weapon that was offered to the defenders in the first place. So, okay, why do we still talk about this? Because that single no didn't just doom a city. It kicked off a chain reaction that completely and permanently changed the entire world. I mean, the fallout was just catastrophic for the Byzantines. Their 1,000-year empire was over, just like that. The Ottomans had their new capital, and the shockwaves from this single event would redraw the maps of Europe and the Middle East forever.
And that leaves us with one of history's great what-ifs. Was the emperor just a victim of bad luck and worse timing, with no good choices left? Or was his failure to find the money for one brilliant engineer the single most expensive no ever uttered? It's a pretty powerful reminder that sometimes you just can't afford to say no.